So, just a heads up, I'm going to be recording this session today. It's for coaches of mine to show them kind of how we do sessions and stuff. So he's just going to be kind of a fly back here, videotaping how I do what I do. So don't worry. So act your normal self. Don't try to act too cool or don't speak. Yeah, it's going right on YouTube. It's going to be viral in 10 minutes. Yeah. So anyway, I just want to let you know that we do have somebody back there. So first things first, I told you guys we got gear. It's coming in. I got some more swag here for you, some Boost bands. So these, all right, and again, you can wear these. I don't know if they're conforming, if they can wear them when they play. You probably don't want stuff like this, but what some athletes do, volleyball, they'll put it around their shoe. So this is our mission statement, right? Be confident, be present, and be in control. And you can use this as kind of a focus dot. You can use it as a mantra, but make it a reminder. Don't just read it. This is, if you do these three things, be confident, be present, be in control, you can dominate sport, you can dominate life. But the things we're working on are going to help you do that. So test my throwing skills and getting around here. But we got more stuff coming in, huh?
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Wear them with pride, like everything else. Don't get arrested in them. If cops come and throw it hard out the window.
Hey, but if you're confident, present,
And in control, then you shouldn't have the cops. The cops shouldn't. Right. That's right. You shouldn't have anything to worry about. All right. So I heard about the game last night. I want to start there real quick. What happened? You guys got beat. I wish you just got beat. You lost. What do we say? Boost. Don't lose. Yeah, it's okay to get beat, but we don't lose. What happened? Just real quick. We won't kick it around. Because what I hear so far is you guys really haven't gotten beat much at all. You just kind of lost a little bit. And that's mostly due to mental lapses and bad attitude, motivation, all that good stuff. So what happened last night? Can you tell us there an overall kind of theme? Or
it was a lot of things just piled together.
Yeah, just a culmination of stuff?
Yeah. Like there wasn't just like one thing.
Yeah. It usually isn't. It's one thing that leads into another, and then and that's part of it. If you don't have a way, because that one thing's going to happen. You know what I mean? Every game. That's the adversity. Whether it's right or wrong, something's going to happen. And the thing that we need to learn as a person, individually and as a team, is when that thing happens, either to me or the team, how do we respond? You know what I mean? Let's get back to being present, so we don't let that thing then snowball. Because when it snowballs, we all know where that goes. Now you're just out there flailing around and you lost. So anyway, we won't kick that around because we want to talk about what we worked on and move into kind of the session. So does everybody have their assignments? Cool. So it's in the car?
Yeah.
That's all right. We'll just do part remember some of the stuff we talked about. The first thing I want to talk about is the thought stopping activity that we did. So what that activity does is it helps you just be aware of what are the things I'm saying when that adversity comes. What do I say in my head or think in my head when things aren't going my way? You know what I mean? Because everybody does it. The problem is, as athletes and people, when it's happening and we're doing it, we think we're the only one. We're falling apart and everybody else is cool and calm. No, they're not. They're all thinking it. The difference is we're going to start recognizing what we're saying, understanding that it's just not true, but not panicking because we're saying it, and then doing what this is asking us to do to reframe it back into something positive. Even if you don't believe it, you know what I'm saying? That's part of mental toughness. Fake it till you make it, you know. Because people around you don't know what you're thinking, but if your head's down and you're rolling your eyes and you're moping, they sure know what you're thinking. You know what I mean? And if you're a mentally tough athlete like y'all are going to be, those are the athletes you're looking for to pick apart. You're looking for the girl on the other because she's thinking what you're thinking. She made a mistake. She's saying something in her head like, "Oh, I suck. Why am I even here? This is horrible. You know, God, I'm the worst ever." That's what she's saying. You know, and if she can't get out of that, and if you can't get out of that, then you're going to perform like that. You will do what you think you will do. Period. Good or bad. So for that first assignment, just raise your hand. Who thought writing down the negative stuff was easier? To write down the negative stuff. Who thought that was easier? The majority of you will probably raise your hand. And it's okay. Like I said, we're not grading this. This is awareness. Because I want you all to see that most of you, if not all of us, deal with the same stuff. You're not alone in this stuff. You know what I mean? Writing down the negative thing, probably you're like, man, I need to write down 10 more things. I got these 5 real quick. Because that's what we're conditioned to do as a society, is to be real critical of ourselves, to be judgmental, to defeat ourselves when something doesn't go our way. Because it's easy. It's automatic. You know what I mean? So did you find it a little harder than when you had to reframe that negative thing into something positive? You guys can talk, and yes,
For some of them.
for some of them it was easier than the others.
Well, like, for something like, I like always do it, so I already know like the positive side, it's just like, I need to stop the negative part.
Yeah.
Like, I know what I need to tell myself to get out of it, but like, I just need a way to like never talk about the negative part.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, okay, yeah, no, I do, we'll talk, that's part of this.
I did not
want-
explain that well.
It was a little cloudy, but that's okay. But I mean, and I want us to talk about it, you know, because what we're gonna do next is I want us to share, everybody, share one or two of the negative things that you say. When something, let's just say whatever you're thinking right now, you're out there playing a tournament, you hit it in the net, or you miss it, you know, you make an error. Just out loud, raise your hand and say out loud, what's some of the negative? I don't care, it can be PC, it can be, you're not gonna offend me, I'm a sailor. Your coach, I don't know if he needs earmuffs, but he's probably okay. But anyway, just be honest, what do you say when something happens? What negative do you say? Just give me an example.
Like, wait, are you talking about like
In
my
your head, yeah,
In
what-
my head.
yeah.
In my head, I don't say shoot a monkey.
Shoot him up. You
Not out loud.
say that out loud?
Well, yeah, or I'll
Yeah.
like say shoot or like dang it or
Yeah,
something
darn.
like that.
Darn, well, that's not bad.
No, I mean like
Darn.
in my head.
Yeah.
Are you talking about like in my head?
So do you say, if you hit it in the net, you say something like, man, I suck, or that's awful, or
No.
man.
I
No, I don't say that.
What do you say?
I do.
Dang it. You guys are too innocent.
I say-
That's all you're saying is dang it, darn
We
it.
go to.
No, I don't say
I
like
usually.
Give me what you say.
I just say like when you said like I suck. Like what the heck do I
Right.
say? Like,
That's
why
what
do I
all of
do
you are
that?
saying that. You're just
Like,
not, that, you're saying, that is going on in your head at some point. You're sitting there going, man, I suck. I'm horrible. I mean, read me your list. You got your list? Read me your 5 right there.
Oh.
Out loud.
Okay, why did I hit that? Why did I double that? Why can I miss a serve? Why can't I hit it harder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the stuff you're saying. You know, the darn it is just everybody, oh darn it. But then it's followed up by something like that, something personal. You know what I mean? A personal kind of negative dig, pun intended, with volleyball, on yourself. You know what I mean?
Got killed.
Yeah, was that good? Like that? Note that one. That was
Pun on
yeah.
pun.
So, give me yours. Your 5.
Mine. Why did I miss that serve? I'm not good enough. Why did I just double? I suck. I need to jump higher.
Yeah, okay, I mean, how many people have said some similar stuff when they make a mistake? That's what I'm saying, you're not alone when you think that, you know what I mean? And every girl on the other side, and every volleyball girl in America does this and thinks that, you know what I mean? And that's what we're helping you understand. Every high school in the country right now is having volleyball practice. Every high school in the country's lifting weights, they're probably doing some drill-related stuff. 99% of them aren't doing this stuff, you know what I mean? They're not sitting here as a team and saying, hey, I get frustrated when I make a mistake, and that's okay. But the problem is I beat myself up. You may think it's not, but when you start saying that stuff, the way the body works, it's gonna start making you perform like that's how you are. You know what I mean? Man, I suck. I can't hit it over the net. My serve's horrible. You know, that's setting you up to have a horrible serve or to suck, you know? So now what we have to do, and this is where the challenge, this is the learning piece, is because you're going to continue to say that. I'm not turning your brains off. This is the way we are conditioned. That's going to come up. But A, we don't panic. We recognize it. And we just say, okay, you know, I hit it in the net. Yeah, be pissed off for a second. That's okay. And if you say that, if you catch yourself, you're aware, you're catching that negative stuff going on. Now you have to come back and let's try to say some of the positive stuff. So walk me through yours you just did. Yeah, sorry. A lot of red over there. You know, so start with number 1 and read the negative thing, and then how did you reframe it into something positive?
Well, I said I can't serve, and I said serving is something I can control. Like I know how to do it.
Yeah, serving something I can control. I know how to do it. Give me another one off there.
I said I'm not good enough. I said like in the long run, it's like doesn't really matter because volleyball is not my entire life.
Right. It's not sure this is a game. You're having fun with it. You know what I mean? So don't put all that pressure on yourself. You know, it's non-existent. Pressure doesn't exist. There's no pressure in here. It's invited because you made an error and you start talking bad. Now it starts building up. Somebody else give me a couple. Over here. Give me a negative and a positive, how you reframed it. She was so mad she tore the paper up.
No, something happened. When I take a lot of passes, I get stuck in my head, so like, I like don't think I can pass the ball.
Mhm.
But I can get good passes to make up for it.
I can get good passes to make up for it, you know. And that's what I'm saying. So let's get 3 or 4 more. Who else has a good one they want to share? Or I don't care if you don't want to share. Share it.
Me?
Yes. You look like you didn't want to share it.
Uh,
That's okay. Just
okay.
read one out loud.
I've said I give up, and I tell myself to just keep trying.
Just keep trying, yep. And that's even when you feel like giving up. Even if you just serve 4 in the net, don't quit. You know what I mean? Don't start to feed that negativity, or you are gonna check out and you're gonna be done. And if you're playing against a team that knows this stuff, who are they coming after? They're coming over that person. They're gonna put her in the ground. And that's what we're gonna start doing. Because you guys are no different than anybody else. You know, this is a human thing. It's not a personalized thing. The difference is we're gonna be aware of it, and now you have to start doing this reframing, and that's where it takes thought and patience. You have to back up and maybe breathe, Bamo. Breathe, take a breath, quiet the mind, breathe, and move on. And moving on means saying something positive. You know what I mean? And you do it, and you do it, and you do it. And ultimately, it will kind of be a little easier when you make a mistake. You'll hit it in the net, and you'll just be like, darn it. But then as you're walking away, you'll be like, yeah, I can't wait till it's my turn again. You know, I'm acing my hand, you know, I'm going to send a rocket. Instead of going, God, I hope when I have to serve again this game, I'm going to lose it for us. I suck, you know. Uh-oh, it's your turn to serve. You know what I mean? That's what you got to get out of the habit of doing. So the second piece of this assignment, what do you guys think of doing this? Does it bring some awareness? And is it kind of silly when that's why we have you write it down? When you look, you know, let's take yours for instance. And now, who have my one? Who else has one? Do you have yours? Did you leave yours in the car?
I can think of it, but.
You have yours. I want somebody to read it. Just read your 5. Look at them and read them as like, read your 5 as like one sentence or one paragraph. Out loud.
Why did I hit that? I'm playing terrible. That was so bad. I can't believe I hit that in the net. And that serve was so out.
That serve was so out. So it's just like a string of negative stuff, and you look at that, and it's just so silly. We're laughing about it, right? It's silly, you know? Doesn't mean you can't play volleyball. Doesn't mean you suck. You just hit a bad shot. It's competition. It's going to happen. You know what I mean? Now read your 5 positive. Read your 5 how you reframed it. Just read them like one full thing.
Play smart but still be aggressive. Oh wait, like read the.
Yeah, just read all 5 of them
Okay.
straight down to positives.
And then.
Play smart but be aggressive.
I'm playing terrible. I did bam.
You don't have, no, don't read, just read the
Okay.
positives.
And then you keep swinging, you have it next time, and then everyone makes mistakes, don't stay on it, and then it's a new point.
So you see what I'm saying? That's a good string. And so what you do next for this assignment to finish this one out is you get another piece of paper. We don't have to do it right now. You can do it after practice or at another session. I want you to at least do it maybe tonight or something. But get 2 pieces of paper, write the negative stuff on one piece and the positive stuff on the other piece. And then you can do it as a team or as an individual. Get rid of that negative stuff. It's BS. So you can shred it, light it on fire in a safe way. It's releasing the negativity is what you're doing. It's a psychological tactic. You're seeing this stupid, garbage, negative stuff on a piece of paper that ain't true, and you're getting rid of it. You know, get it away from you. And then you're left with just the good thing. And so now you've got this like sentence or paragraph that says, you know, I am great, I can do this. It's another point. Play hard, play fast, whatever it is. And you keep that. Put it in your volleyball bag. Put it on in your bedroom, somewhere where you see it, because that's the real you. You know, that's the thing that you're letting this negative, stupid stuff squash. You know what I'm saying? And so it's a reaffirming what you're about, and you keep that with you. And if you're coming into a game and you're nervous or you're worked up, you read it and you pay attention to it. Or if it's in the middle of a game and you're struggling and you need to get out of that, breathe, bammo, go over. And were you guys trying that? You trying the breathing techniques?
We do it every time out. Every time.
Do it, and you actually do it 9 seconds. Oh, good, good. Are they doing it, Coach? All right,
I don't know if
good.
he likes it, but.
You got to do it. You know what I mean? And so, but this is another thing you can have again when you start getting sideways and you start getting upset or feeling like you're screwing everything up. Just go read this because this is what you're about, and then not just read it, remember it. You know what I'm saying? All right. Any questions on that activity? Good stuff. So the second one we did is the SWOT. How many people had ever done a SWOT, like in a class, or have you ever heard of it, or no? So SWOT is something that a lot of like leadership and things like that do. It stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And so I wanted you to do one as an individual, and then we can talk about it. And we're basically going to kind of arrive at what's the main SWOT for us as a team. What are our main strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats? So who wants to raise their hand and tell me some of their strengths that they wrote down? Don't all jump. You.
I said that I don't let my thinking affect my game as much anymore because I used to shut down and now I just.
So
move on.
you're working on this stuff. You're more aware of it.
But
That's
I'm
great.
way more aware of it
Yeah,
now.
so that's a great strength. Who else had some good strengths that they wrote down?
That's all good.
Uh-huh.
I said that I have drive, that like I want to win and I want to get better.
Drive, want to win, want to get definite strength. That's great. I know everybody's got strengths in here, so share if you want. Over
This
here.
isn't going on YouTube, guys.
Yeah, right. It's only going to my coaches, don't
I
worry.
like to encourage people and like be positive.
Like to encourage people to be positive. Great strength. All right, so what are some weaknesses? What do we have in here as weaknesses? This is where I see everybody usually start raising their hands. Oh, God. What are some weaknesses? Right here. What's your name? Eden. Some weaknesses. You got your sheet of paper, just read them off.
I said I need to improve my focus when certain people are watching.
That's part of the performance expert, so you're worrying about who's out there watching it,
Yeah.
you know.
So-
That can be a weakness, because it, like we say, it's okay to care what people think, but don't worry, because worries would affect your performance. What are some other weaknesses? Let's get you real quick, because I know you don't have it, but you got one.
Okay.
I like your shirt too.
Oh, it was in my bag and I forgot one time.
No, you put that out this morning.
No, I mean, I did
Making sure
too.
you, that's
I
good.
did too.
Better
I
answer.
kept it in my
That's-
bag since I got it.
Yeah, you haven't taken it off, actually.
Yeah, I know.
Good.
Totally.
So what's weaknesses?
I get in my head a lot and I just completely shut down if I'm like, why am I here?
Yep, just to self-defeat yourself until
Yeah.
basically you're taking your own self out of the game.
Pretty
You know what I
much,
mean?
yeah.
Nobody else had to do it, coach didn't have to do it,
Yeah.
opposing team didn't have to do it, you're just voluntarily taking yourself out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a big weakness and it's common. It's not just you. Who else?
I play down to the other team's level sometimes.
That's a big one.
So if I'm like playing someone that's terrible, I kind of like don't pay attention as much, or I'm not as completely in the game as I would if we were like actually playing some
Yep.
competition.
You'll hear that a lot, so everybody gets that, she plays down. You guys probably do it as a team, I know you guys are good. That's probably like what happened last night, you know, I don't know if that team was supposed to be better or not or whatever, but it's pretty common that you play down to your, people play down to their competition. And then they also, on the other side, have difficulty playing up. You know, so it may, if we're getting ready to go play a team that's the number one seed or whatever they are, you just kind of check out before you play them. You know, you kind of come into it with no expectation that we can beat them. So there's two ways it goes, you know what I'm saying? We have trouble playing up, but we don't have trouble playing, you know, we have trouble playing down. So you kind of really are screwing yourself both ways. And a boost, and what mentally tough athletes and athletes that are leaders, what they do is, I don't care who I'm playing. It could be the number one seed, or it can be the worst team on the planet. When we come, we're coming to dominate them. We're coming to beat them out of the gym, period. And we're gonna start fast. We're gonna start hot, you know what I mean? And if we go down 2 or 3 points, we don't quit, we're coming. We're coming to beat them, and that's a mentality that you have to have coming into anything. And that, you know, it doesn't mean that this number one team won't crush you. They may crush you, but you can get crushed and then still be like, man, I don't want to play those girls again. You know what I mean? That team, I hope we don't see them again. You know, or they can be like, hey, what chumps, they weren't even there. You know, they're laughing, playing, you know, what's that do for you? You know, and this is it's a mindset for life, you know what I mean? It's like, don't be intimidated or afraid to do something that's above you. You know, be confident that you can do it, because that increases the likelihood that it'll happen. If you're not confident, it increases the likelihood it won't happen. So that's the thing with that, and that's a great one. I'm glad you brought it up. That anytime you go play a team below you or a team above you, you treat them the same. You know what I'm saying? We're coming in here to play, you know, OCS volleyball and dominate you till they blow the whistle. And I don't care if we're playing like crap. I don't care if we're playing great. We keep coming, and that will set a tone, and it'll help you. All of a sudden, you'll be like, we just beat that team that we haven't beaten in 5 years, or we just won a tournament that we shouldn't have been invited to. It happens. It doesn't mean, and it's teams that don't have a lot of elite players that have a mindset like that beat elite teams. So that's a good one. Any other weaknesses that popped up? That's a good one to kind of move from there. So opportunities, you know what opportunities are? So what are some opportunities that you can do or take advantage of to help you with some of the weaknesses you're doing? For example, a great opportunity is working with Boost. Developing your mental toughness and your mindset. So hopefully y'all have that as an opportunity. What other opportunities are out there? What are things you can do to increase some of those weaknesses? Visualize what?
What I'm doing, like right.
Yeah, good.
Right.
That's, yeah. Visualization. So visualization is another skill and things we can work on as we move along, but seeing yourself winning, you know, and the best athletes in the world, the Brady's, LeBron's, you know, Serena, the top, I mean, they will in their mind literally play the full event or match 3 or 4 times from start to finish before they go play it. They'll sit there and they take visualization and imagery so deep. I mean, Brady will sit there and he'll sit in a wing in his room and go from opening kickoff to the end of the 4th quarter, and he'll be smelling the grass, hearing the crowd, feeling the leather of the ball, laying still, laying perfectly still, thinking about what he'd do in situations. Hey, we're down 12-6, 12-7, coming into the 2nd quarter. It's windy, we're on the road. Here's the formation I see. What do I do? He's preparing, because it stores it in your mind. And usually when you use imagery and visualization, you're not seeing something bad. You're not like watching yourself hit in the net. Most golfers will say, I never miss a putt in my mind. So visualization and imagery is a good opportunity, and it's a skill. It's a skill you have to learn. And we can help you learn that. What else? Opportunities. Don't know? Fine. Who else? Any other opportunities out there? How about threats? So what are some threats for you, either individually with your performance or as a team?
What?
Threats. Is
I
there anything?
said-
Go ahead. What do you have for threats?
I said not giving it all in practices or taking the opportunities to get better.
Yep.
And then I'm surprised in the game that I should have been because of it.
That's a great one. You hear what she's saying, not doing, if you continue to do what you do, if I leave and you don't do any of this and you guys just go about what you're gonna get what you get, you know what I mean? It's gonna, but don't, and that's fine if you're happy with it, but the problem is people complain about it. I wish we could have beat them. Well, you have to do something different, you know what I mean? And this is doing something different. That's great. It's a threat to recognize that if I don't do something different, then I'm not gonna get any better.
Or like comparing myself.
Oh yeah,
Like,
that's
other
huge.
people.
Yeah, comparing yourself to other people, that's huge. I wish I was as good as her, or why can't I do that? Or don't worry about that. Do what you can do. We use the analogy of the hula hoop all the time. Imagine you got a hula hoop around you. You're out there in the court or whatever in practice. The only thing you can control is what's in that hoop. And just try to do the best you can. You can't control what she's doing. You can't make her any better or worse. You can't. Some people are better than you. There's people better than me. There's always somebody better than us. You know what I mean? But that doesn't help you unless you use that as a motivator to say, hey, watch what that person does. Because usually they're working harder. They're staying after practice. They're asking the coach questions. They're, being a part of things like this. There's usually a reason why they're doing that. And so don't be intimidated by it. Be motivated by it. Make sense? Cool. So to wrap up the SWOT piece, let's just kind of arrive at kind of 1 or 2 things in each one of those categories kind of as a team that we can think about, we're more aware of, and then we can start maybe trying to do some things about it. So what do you think this team kind of biggest strengths are as a team? Not just an individual, but anybody can throw it out.
I think that we have everything like we need to like succeed. Like we have a good defense, like we have setters, like people know. And then we have an offense that like can like hit the ball and like get a kill.
Yeah. You guys have got the talent, you know what I mean? You've got the talent, you've got the skills, you've got a great coach, you've got, resources, an athletic director that believes in stuff like this. You're getting the opportunity to do things that 99.9% of high school athletes aren't doing, So that is a strength. You've got access and you're doing things that are going to help you improve not just as a volleyball player, but as a person. What other strengths?
Probably like our encouragement, we're pretty good at encouraging
Each other?
people, yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge one, because not just picking on girls, but I work with a lot of teams, and girls can have a tendency to get real cliquey and real kind of separate, and that doesn't help a team. It doesn't mean you have to be best buddies. You don't even have to like the other person. You don't have to hang out or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But when you're in this environment, I always tell people, don't be quick to catch your teammates doing something wrong. Be quick to catch them doing something right. Give them credit for something. Even if it's a person that, is doing something that seems like it's just nothing, and she's trying or doing something, go encourage, let her know, hey, I saw you do that, nice work. Don't walk over to your person, oh, did you see her, she can't even hit that serve. That's dumb, man. It doesn't help anybody. And, so that's good. What else? One more strength, and we'll kind of move through the rest of it. Any other good strengths? Is communication a strength, or is that a weakness? Iffy, well, we'll get to that then. Okay, so we got a couple good strengths. We don't need to get 15 of them. So let's talk about weaknesses. So what are some kind of weaknesses that we still are aware? Be honest. Is communication one?
Sometimes we have good communication, and sometimes.
But you need to have good communication
All the time.
all the time.
Yeah, I think our thing is like we go into a game thinking we're gonna lose, or like we get really, really close to winning, and then we're like, okay, well, they beat us, so, but there's no way we can win.
Yeah.
But that's when you gotta try harder.
Yeah, you gotta do something different, right? So communication, that's pretty common. I mean, it doesn't matter what age, what team, what sport, communication usually is not the best, but we can work. And just doing stuff like this, saying, hey, as a team, we know, myself included, we're not the best communicators, so work on communication, you know. What any other weaknesses that are kind of a team-oriented thing?
I mean, we have a lot of good parts like on the team, but sometimes we don't put them all together like as one
Yeah.
good game. It just kind of like everything is separate and it
Yeah,
makes it.
it's kind of like in a silo, like one thing's
Yeah.
going good.
Yeah.
And that's gonna happen again too. You guys are playing a team game, right? So there's gonna be moving parts and some parts move better than others. But you have to be aware of it and try to think of something, well, what can I do to go make this piece? Do I need to pick my piece up better? You know what I mean? Or can I provide some kind of support? So it's good that you acknowledge it. Now, what do you do about it? You know what I mean? If it's when you take that time out and y'all take a breath and hey, we see what's going on here. It's part of the communication. Let's pick it up here. Let's do that. You know, you're talking. You're not just sitting there kind of thinking people are figuring it out on their own. You know what I mean? And that's part of the leadership piece. You know, you don't have to be a captain or a senior to provide feedback or say, hey, this is something I see. And if somebody says that, don't jump on them if it's right or wrong. Just, it's feedback, you know? All right, what about opportunities as a team? Yeah. This, yeah. Doing this stuff and taking it serious, and you've proven that you've done it. You've brought your work. You're doing your, you'll get as much out of this as you put into it. You know what I mean? And you guys are putting, so I can see that you guys are putting into it, so I appreciate that. That's great. What about threats as a team? Is there any threats out there? Is there like a rival or a number one, somebody that's looming that you're worried about? Who?
CHA. We'll go with that, CHA.
CHA? What's the,
There are rivals.
do you play them anytime soon? State?
Well, we
Oh,
have
yeah,
pumps.
Oh, yeah, we'll over there.
Yeah, so you know that's out there, and you're gonna have teams that are, you know what I mean, and that's good. We gotta have rivals. We wanna have people that get your kind of heart pumping a little bit, you know what I mean? But start not trying to view it, try not to view them as a threat to beating us or making us look bad or whatever, and start trying to make them an opportunity. You know, hey, how about if we do come in there and beat them? How about if we do go with them, you know? Don't look at, you know what I'm saying, like you're not taking this thing that's off in the distance and making it so threatening. You know, it doesn't mean they're not a great team. I don't really are. They'd be the best volleyball team in the country. And that's fine. But if you're viewing them as a threat, and you're kind of worried already, it's just inhibiting you from literally working on things today. You know, you gotta start when we're done here, out there doing stuff that's gonna get you ready so that when that day comes, because it's coming, you're ready for it. And you're excited about it. And you're like, yep, let's go. Let's do it. And then if they come out and they get a 6-0 lead, you oh God, I knew it, you know, here we go. You keep going, you know, and you keep going. And then you just keep doing that, you know. All right, does anybody have questions about those two activities? Assignments? Coach, any thoughts?
No, I think, you know, kind of what they discussed is kind of something we've been kind of dealing with all year. Just, you know, having the faith in themselves to know that they're good enough to go out and do a great job. Sometimes we lose sight of that during a match, especially against the better teams. You know, we kind of talk about every match. You know, just having the confidence to do that and having the willingness to let things go when they're not going right.
Yeah.
I think that creates an atmosphere of you know, kind of discontent among this group that, you know, when things aren't going right, it kind of explodes into, you know, the opposite way of getting things done.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, like I said, we've got all the talent in the world, and you guys really haven't noticed that. You guys have written it down and acknowledge that. You know, kind of the things we talk about. Just getting those little things, like Lowry said, you know, we've got all the parts, and sometimes it's hard to get all the nuts and bolts to get those together and make it a solid, you know, foundation to keep going on.
Yeah. And that's because you guys play, like I said, it's a team game. Those parts are rarely, remember we talked about the 30-70 rule, the optimum peak performance? It's only 3 out of 10 games where all those parts are gonna be jiving and clicking. So 70% of the time, they ain't gonna be, you know what I mean? But that's not a reason to give up or quit or beat yourself up. You just have to understand that's the reality of how competition in sports work, period. It's not an OCS thing, that's a human thing. And I don't care what sport you're playing. So mentally tough people figure out a way, you know, it's easy to win when everything's clicking, it's easy to have fun and win then, but that's such a small percentage of time. How do you win when you're in that 70%? Because that's where you're gonna spend 70% of your career. You know what I mean? So you gotta figure out a way, because you know, you're not anticipating it being a bad game. You come into it hoping it's gonna be one of those A games, and if it is, you keep playing it. And you play it, and if it is an A game all throughout, then great. You don't have to change anything. You don't need this mental toughness stuff. This stuff is for when you come into it with this expectation, hey, it's gonna be an A game, we're pumped, we're ready, and uh-oh, the wheels are falling off. You know, whether it's 2 minutes in or 20 minutes in. That's gonna happen. You know what I mean? So you gotta get over that fear of thinking you have to be perfect, or I can't make a mistake, or if I make a mistake, I'm done, or if I make a mistake, I'm horrible, get me out, because you're gonna make mistakes, you know what I mean? It's not panicking when that bad stuff's going on, and figuring out personally and as a team, what do we do to overcome this right now? You know what I'm saying? And if you're not thinking positively, and if you're not, you know, being confident, being present, and being in control, you're not gonna win in that 70% of the time. And then people are always wondering, well, why did we lose that? We were up, we won the first set, or we were up 9 points. How did we lose that? You lost sight of what was going on. You lost focus. You weren't present. You know, in a sport like volleyball, it can happen like that. You know, quick. So it's, you know, it's just being aware of that, not freaking out when the components are working, and then most importantly, doing something about it, personally and as a team. Make sense? All right. Well, I won't, I'll stick around for a little bit after this. I know you guys are getting ready to move into practice, but I'll just kind of hang out for maybe 20, 30 minutes out here till 4:30 or so. If anyone wants to talk about their profile or anything specifically in it, you know, I'll be glad to do that. I appreciate you guys again, and looking forward to big things. Keep doing what we're doing. I'll be sending you the next assignment, probably tonight or tomorrow. And we'll just keep doing what we're doing. All right? Yes?
I did not get an email about the.
If you didn't get an email,
like the first initial one with like our survey.
yeah,
thing.
so I got a couple.